Liverpool placed their first official bid for Alexander Isak, £120 million confirmed. The bid is in. The player is pushing for the move. He wants to become a Liverpool player. The initial bid has been pushed back, has been rejected by Newcastle United, who still publicly claim that they have no intentions of selling Isak unless a replacement is found. Liverpool reportedly not deterred, will return. The player still wanting this move. We're going to delve into this breaking news. We're going to delve into this story on the show right now. So hit the like button. Get that done right now. Get it liked. Yes, I'm waiting on you. Yes, I'm looking at you. Get it liked. Get yourself subscribing. Get that bell notification button turned on as well. This deal is heating up. Back to the Football Terrace. I wasn't expecting to go live again so soon, but big bombs, big news dropping. We're going to bring you those updates right now on the Football Terrace. The exclusive today coming from David Ornstein in relation to this deal. We're going to go through what he had to say, plus Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio Romano, and many others. But more importantly to me than all of that, I want your opinions on this story. I want your thoughts, your feelings right now in the live chat, in the comment section as well. And as Kane Talks, one of our members here says, well, this is exciting. And I think this is exciting. Unless you're a Newcastle fan, I suppose it isn't. If you're a rival of Liverpool, you don't want it to happen, but it's certainly exciting. This here from David Ornstein, I'll read his article too. He says that Newcastle have rejected a formal offer from Liverpool for centre-forward Alexander Isak. Isak wants to leave Newcastle this summer and has been training at his former club, Real Sociedad, whilst Eddie Howe's squad are in South Korea as part of their pre-season tour of Asia. Liverpool have previously made an informal approach for their Premier League to their Premier League rivals and expressed interest in doing a deal in the region of 120 million. The Anfield club have now seen an official bid rebuffed. Newcastle have tried to tie Isak down to a new improved contract, which would have included a release clause next summer and encouraged him to stay in the Northeast through senior team mates. But the 25-year-old has not changed his stance, which has been made clear to the club by Isak and his representatives for some time. The Swedish international spent 3 years at Real Sociedad. All of that is irrelevant. It says sources speaking anonymously, as they were not authorized to do publicly, said Isak's absence from Newcastle's pre-season tour was the player's preference, and amid his uncertain future, the club have cited a minor thigh injury for the forward. We all knew that was bullshit. Isak's Newcastle contract has 3 years remaining, but they have now begun seeking potential replacements in case of his departure, although their stance remains that he is not for sale. But why would you look for replacements if he is not for sale? David Ornstein goes on to write, The Athletic reported on the 15th of July that Liverpool had communicated interest in doing a deal in the region of 120 million. The Premier League champions later completed the signing of Hugo Ekitike for an initial 69 million pounds. So on and so forth. The rest of it is a bit of analysis. Yeah, we'll go into the analysis a little bit later. But the bid's gone in. It's been rejected. There have been some other breakdowns of this as well, with Fabrizio Romano here stating, and we'll read this to you, Liverpool opening bid for Alexander Isak was worth 120 million package plus add-ons. So the add-ons, which I think Dave Kopp told us about this morning. It says Newcastle rejected as they won't open the door, at least until finding a replacement, and it's not guaranteed at this stage. Isak insists with Newcastle that he's clear desire to join Liverpool. So this isn't just about a player wanting to leave. There is a clear desire. There is a clear push. There is a clear movement for him to join Liverpool. This isn't just, we'll find someone else. Somebody else might be able to get involved in this race. The player has picked Liverpool. Ben Jacobs here says, breaking news. He says Newcastle have rejected the formal bid from Liverpool. Liverpool had previously told Newcastle they were willing to pay around 120. Formal offer made by Richard Hughes. The final line, though, is very important. Liverpool had a clear indication of optimism despite the rejection, Isak pushing to join. And I think Ben Jacobs has pulled on a really important part of this deal here. A very, very important part of this deal indeed. And that is that Liverpool don't bid unless they really believe a deal is going to be done most of the time. Yes, I know instantly your comeback will be, they bid for Caicedo. They thought they had that deal done. So you are serving the point being made here. Liverpool will often walk away early in a transfer. They will walk away at the very early stages. They will walk away, push out the sort of PR that they were never really involved. There was no advanced talks. It was never a serious situation, etc. They do that regularly. That is their way, whether you like it or you loathe it. It's the way Liverpool operate. So I agree with the last sentence there of Ben Jacobs' update that Liverpool are optimistic, even though this first official bid was rejected. A second one is expected, would be the word I would use, right? I'm trying to find the right word to use. Expected to be made. My personal feeling is I don't think it will be a bid that is significantly higher than 120 million. And when I say significantly, you've got to remember 10% is 12 million quid. There's a lot of no, it would be 12 million quid, would it? It would be, or would it be? Is my brain gone? Have I lost my brain? It would be 12 million pounds. Sorry, I'm being an absolute moron when I say that. When I say it wouldn't be much of a significant increase, if you plus sort of 15% onto this as an example, 18 million, 15% isn't a massive increase. The percentage increase won't be big, is what I'm saying. I don't see this being a deal that ends up being 200 million pound as an example, almost doubling in that regard. I think it'll be a deal that in totality ends up being around that 140 mark. I think the structure around the bid, when the dust settles, I think the structure around the bid plus Newcastle finding a replacement are the two biggest stumbling blocks for me personally. So I think this will happen. I think this will get done, and I think it will get over the line. Let's go to some of your comments here that are coming through. This one just made me laugh straight away. Cope rivals. And I think this is probably the most... There is truth to this, and I'm going to break down as to why. And I love this comment, because if Liverpool pull this deal off, it changes everything. I've said that 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to say it again. If Liverpool pull off this deal, the title race changes, Liverpool's future changes. They had their Mohamed Salah replacement. And again, I know that the low IQ trolls will say they play different positions. How can they be a replacement? What Liverpool have to do is replace Mo Salah in the aggregate. They cannot replace Mo Salah like for like. Who is there in the world? They're probably not. You've got Saka potentially, Yamal. And I'm talking players with the ability to get big output and to be consistent. They're the only 2 right wingers. Now, you guys may think of some other ones in the comment section below, which is great, that can come in and do that. But you are not going to replace Mohamed Salah like for like, in my personal opinion. Absolutely impossible in each and every single way. So that's why rivals are angry, because what we can see, I'm annoyed about it. I'm frustrated. I want Newcastle to stand firm. I want Newcastle to not get Šeško for personal reasons and to go, we're not selling him. It isn't happening. There is no way. This is an impossibility. Not on your Nelly. He's staying at our club. Please, Newcastle, do it. But I think all of us know, in the reality of this situation, you only have to look at the comment from Ben Jacob, and I'll read that to anybody that didn't read it earlier. Formal offer made by Richard Hughes. Liverpool bid a clear indication of optimism despite the rejection. My advice to any rival watching this is do not get suckered in because of the rejection. Do not get suckered in by the PR that states Alexander Isak will not be allowed to go. And I'll tell you why you shouldn't be sucked into this PR and why you can cope all you want. You can throw spaghetti as much as you want and hope some of it sticks. But nearly everything we've been told about Alexander Isak staying thus far has not been true. The initial links back in April, they're not real, Terry. This is paper talk. Liverpool aren't touching base. The player wants to stay. Look, read this comment, Terry. The player loves the club. Eddie Howe said at the end of the season, he couldn't guarantee players would stay. Don't misquote him, Terry. You're taking him out of context. He's just protecting himself. It means nothing. What if Alexander Isak tries to force a move? Terry, you know nothing about Newcastle. You know nothing about Alexander Isak. How dare you? How dare you? You put a smudge, against his character. This man is honorable. He's beautiful. He's amazing. He's loyal. He's honest. He would never look to force a move. That isn't going to happen. You can't turn his head, Terry. It says here Newcastle might sell him at the right price. It doesn't matter, Terry, that Newcastle have set a figure they would sell him for. He's not for sale. Well, why are you setting a figure to sell a player if they're not for sale? Well, why are you asking me questions that I don't have answers for? You're just a mug. And I've seen this all summer and so on and so forth. You're protecting him from the media at a game that the media was not at. It wasn't even on television. For not playing a preseason game. Does that sound like he might be leaving to you? No, Terry, you're chatting nonsense. Why is he training by himself? Oh, Terry, read the room. He's got an injury. Then why is he training with Real Sociedad? Terry, that's all fake news. You are fake news. I can't do the accent, but you get what I'm saying? This has been the whole summer. So now, after all of those lies and after all of that bullshit and after all of that crap, why would any of you believe that Newcastle's stance that if they don't get a new striker is so firm they will not sell him and he's still not for sale? I'll believe it 10%. There's a 10% chance it happens. But we have to look at the overarching story from April through till now. People like myself consistently attacked, berated, even been sent threats of violence against me. I did share my work address. None of them turned up. But let's read the room and let's be honest. Let's get you guys are still in the first stages of the denial curve. Get over it. Isak will be a Liverpool player. Liverpool optimistic. The players pushing for the move. Newcastle are stalling. They are trying to find a replacement. They will find one. Whether it's Šeško, whether it is Watkins, Mateta. My guess, right, I've got a sneaky feeling it could end up being Nico Jackson. I believe with the cash they'll get from the Isak deal, they will go back to Brentford and get Wissa. And Newcastle will be happy. They won't be happy they've lost Isak, but they'll be happy with their replacements. They'll be excited about their replacements. So my message to any rival of Liverpool's that's getting giddy, any Newcastle fan who thinks, wow, my club's so strong, we said no. This is just the beginning of the official conversations. A new bid is expected. Confidence is there. Until I see an Ornstein, until I see a Ben Jacobs, until I see a Fabrizio, and probably all three at the same time, coupled with a bit of a Craig Hope, a dash, that or a Paul Joyce more so, not Craig Hope, a Paul Joyce or a James Pearce say Liverpool have pulled away, Liverpool will not be going back. Until I see that, I'm not going to labor under any illusions that this is it. It's done. He's staying at Newcastle. One, the pain would hurt too much in reverse the other way as a Manchester United fan. And two, it's just not the reality of the situation as we know it right now. So let's drop the BS. Let's drop the cap. Let's drop the nonsense. Okay. This is, in my opinion, 90% of the way done. A bit of structural work, maybe a slight increase on the bid, and Newcastle will cave. Newcastle will allow this deal to go through. What they will then do is take that money and they will invest it into two really good attackers. I think Wissa will be one of them. I think he's excellent. He only scored 3 goals less last year than Isak, by the way. And I think he can do that in this very good Newcastle team. They will then go for another striker. Nico Jackson right now is the one I'm thinking of because he's a little bit more versatile than a Watkins or a Mateta. But maybe with Wissa, he's versatile as well. So maybe they do go for a number 9. It's a really good shout. But that's what they're going to go on and do. from a Liverpool standpoint, they're about to complete, in my opinion, the greatest summer transfer window in the history of the Premier League. Frimpong and Kirk. The fact that they're signing Frimpong and Kirkes, and they are the worst or the least quality deals. Even their floor is most clubs' ceilings in terms of this summer's quality. They are both fantastic. You then have Hugo Ekitike, one of the best young and up-and-coming strikers in the world, that everybody rated before he went Liverpool. Let us not change our tunes now and become liars. They've got Florian Wirtz, and it is Wirtz. The Germans keep telling us it's Wirtz, not Wirtz. So Wirtz, who, again, it doesn't matter whether you watch with your eyes. It doesn't matter if you're a stat merchant, an eye test merchant, or you're a normal football fan who lives in the middle of those two things. Wirtz is just top. He is absolutely brilliant. And now they are, in my opinion, 90% of the way in to a deal for the best available striker in the world. Not the best striker in the world, but the best available striker in the world. They couldn't sign Mbappe. They couldn't sign Erling Haaland. Man United won't sell them Rasmus Højlund. Little light-hearted bit there for you. They're going to get it done. And that last line from Ben Jacobs, massive. Clear indication of optimism. So I've covered Liverpool for a decade. When Liverpool feel they're not going to get a player, they pull away early. They get their press out there. They shut the story down, and they make it sound that they literally they break it down, and they almost make it sound like there was never any interest from themselves. And until I see that on this deal, I am not going to believe it. Now, Craig Hope's also updated on this, and Craig Hope has said that Newcastle reject Liverpool's offer of around 110 million for Isak. So again, Craig Hope and the Newcastle press are saying it was actually below the 120. So a difference there. Says bid falls well short of the 150 valuation. But again, they're standing tall that he's not for sale, but they've got a 150 million pound public valuation pushed out by their media. But we're meant to sit here and believe that he's not for sale. So the deal will only progress if a replacement is lined up. So he is for sale then, but you need a replacement to come in. And let's be honest, they might not get. They might not get Benjamin Šeško, but the next line, this is what I said to you guys about coping. Since I started talking, the Newcastle press actually have been the most sensible here. Would likely move for Ollie Watkins if given encouragement. And I think Ollie Watkins would join Newcastle. I really do think he would. So for me, I look at this situation, I look at this deal. They're gonna get a replacement. That's all that's gonna delay this. And they might want a bit more of a bid as well. Maybe Liverpool have chanced their arm by doing it a bit earlier. And I get why. Well, listen, we offer 110, 120. They really want to go and get Šeško. If we put that money in their back pocket, they might be able to advance that deal quicker. Maybe this means he's picked Manchester United. Okay, well, they've got to go and find another striker now. Liverpool will be relaxed. Liverpool knew they were never going to get this deal done early in the transfer window. Some transfers just take a long time. There's no harm in that. It doesn't mean you're not serious. It doesn't mean you're not a well-run club. But for me, this deal's 90% done. It's going to happen. It will get over the line. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Make sure you've hit the like button, please, people. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure that bell notification button is turned on for us as well. But this deal is happening 100%. Let's go to some of your comments now, please, people. I'm just going to timestamp when we're doing that on the screen. Surely it doesn't happen if United gets Šeško. Again, I wouldn't labor under this illusion, my friend. Man United getting Šeško won't stop it because there are multiple strikers still available. Mateta, Watkins, Jackson, Wissa. They're all there. Their clubs. Villa have done the same thing Newcastle have. No, Watkins ain't for sale unless you pay 60 million. They'll pay 60 million for him. Champions League experience, Prem proven, good player. I then think they'll go back and get someone like a Wissa. My mind's now changed on Jackson through seeing Craig Hope's update because he'll get that directly from the club. They'll move on to him. And then Villa will be happy because Villa are like, could have caved to Man United's 40 million valuation. We were strong. We were steadfast. They'll probably end up getting more than that now. And that's what clubs do. That's why selling clubs shouldn't always rush into just accepting the first bid that comes through. That's for me personally, that's a crazy notion to have. And you end up in trouble. Sophie, I hope you're well, Sophie. Not seen you in a few days. Says the way Isak has gone, I don't want him at my club. Show me the money, 150 million. Also, I do not condone what Wissa has done either. Before you try that one. Well, look, this is the thing, but we're all fickle, all of us. If and when Wissa joins, or if Ollie Watkins now starts forcing a move out, you might publicly say, I don't like that either. But when he's banging in goals, when he's scoring hat-tricks, when he's winning you games, you, Sophie, along with the rest of the Newcastle faithful, will celebrate it. You'll love it. You'll be buzzing off the back of it. And you'll be absolutely right to do so. You'll be absolutely right on every single level to do that. No doubt about it whatsoever. You'll be absolutely in the right to do it. And nobody will blame you. No one will think you're wrong. It'll be the right way to behave. I can't stand up more firm on that if I tried. These reports are all a week behind too. Just like Ekatike, things will be agreed with Liverpool whilst he is still linked to Newcastle. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be surprised by. I always look at transfer news a bit like DVD players when they came out. When they came out, I remember a friend's dad who worked in technology. We didn't really know what that meant when we were younger, but he worked in he worked for, at the time, I think it was Curry's, I think it's PC World, but he was a buyer for them and he used to buy in products. And I got a DVD player for Christmas. This was in like 1999 or 2000 when they were brand new. They were like £300 and they wouldn't even play pirate DVDs. They were so sophisticated that they wouldn't do it. And I remember him saying, oh, you should have told me before you asked for that for Christmas. And I remember saying, why? Because I'd have told your parents, don't buy them yet. Over the next 3 to 4 years, they're going to get better, smaller, and they'll actually hold back. They'll actually be able to read things like the pirate discs as well. And I was like, well, how do you know that? He goes, well, they're already made, they're already invented, but they will just stagger the release of each one. They'll get smaller and they'll get cheaper because there'll be more competition, so they'll have to lower their prices, he said, but they'll just make them smaller, more efficient. Eventually, they'll make it so the chips would read, that the laser reader would read the discs that were pirated, because they understand if one's being sold for £50 that reads pirate discs, even if theirs is being sold for £20, people are going to buy the £50 one because the pirate films are like £3 or £4. So the DVD manufacturer didn't care about the movie companies. Does that make sense? So I remember I got told that as a 13-year-old kid, and it stuck with me. And transfers are like that. Sometimes I think the club release the information 2 or 3 days after things have actually happened. By the time an article gets produced and edited and put through its process and then released, you might be 3 or 4 days behind. I agree. I think you're absolutely right when you say that. Let's have a little look here at some of your comments. The scenes when Liverpool sell Núñez to Newcastle on deadline day. Now, I don't see that one happening, my friend, but that would be funny. Tapping up doesn't exist anymore. It was impossible to police and punish. Well, no, tapping up does still exist. Liverpool, I doubt, have sat in a room or had direct phone calls. So nobody in an official capacity of Liverpool has sat down directly with Alexander Isak. What there is not a rule against is Alexander Isak's agent having dinner in London, I'm making the city up, and by chance, an intermediary walks in and starts having a conversation. And they just start talking about the possibilities of Isak leaving, where he would like to go. I heard a rumor that Liverpool like him. Oh, did you really hear a rumor that Liverpool like him? Yeah. What else did you hear? That they're willing to pay this and they'd offer this as a contract. Would your client accept something like that? Well, potentially. I'd have to go and speak to him and ask him. But yeah, I think he would. That's how these conversations go down. There's no rules against it. What they have done is agents and intermediaries have just created a buffer between tapping up. And the thing is, the reason I don't condemn it is because my club does it. The reason why it's silly for Newcastle fans to condemn it is your club. Everybody's doing it. And I'm just not someone that condemns something that I'm not willing to, like, I'm not going to condemn something that's just as widespread as that happens in the game, that's very normal and very natural. And I don't think any club, big or small, would want to get rid of it. You might get a club that's angry when they lose a great asset, but how'd they get that asset in the first place? Most of the time, they're doing very similar things to land these assets, even at academy level in the first place. All these clubs around Europe that have great academies, Go look into the history of how they land some of these youngsters, the job they offer their parents, the money they offer their parents. There are clubs that have signed multiple 13, 14-year-olds to go into their academy, but pay their parents 50, 60, 70 grand. I think Man United, when we signed Kiko Makeda, like his father got a job as like a gardener for us, like working on doing gardening and maintenance for us. His mother was given some sort of job, and there was like a house we helped them buy, so that he moved to the UK. These types of things happen all the time. They're not against the rules. So I just don't cry about these things. I don't see there's any point wasting. I don't think there's any point wasting any time on them on that sort of stuff whatsoever. An update here from Paul Joyce that I've been redirected to. Let's have a little look here what's been said. Okay, let me click on the article and open it up. He's put a link for the Times, but he hasn't put a link to the actual... Oh, no, did I not click on the right thing? Well, that's strange. I'm on the website. Here we go. I'm on the article here. Actually, I'm not subscribed to the Times, so let me just get myself subscribed so I can read the article. Means I'm gonna have to pay. Wait, bear me a sec. Waiting for it to load. 1 second. All right, it's done. Okay, it's loading now. It says here, Newcastle rejected a formal offer from Liverpool. We know that. It's believed the bid was less than 120 million that Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes had previously indicated the club were prepared to bid. Newcastle's valuation for Isak, who has been training alone with his former teammate, is understood to be around 150 million. Liverpool have already spent 295. They have been trying to add another forward to their line. Nothing really in that, as far as I can read. But there isn't anything additional to what we haven't heard already. I'm just seeking. Okay, the fact that Liverpool followed up with a firm bid demonstrates their determination to land Isak and also their intention to make life difficult for Newcastle. So I mean, I'm going to update my title now and put 110 million in, because Paul Joyce has put 110 million. So I'm going to agree with him. What I'm also going to do is update I hope you like the new thumbnails. Won't be long until these ideas, this thumbnail design gets stolen as well by some other Tin Pot YouTuber. But there we go. We're actually currently redesigning all of that stuff and a lot of our sets as well. Because every time we think of something new, somebody else goes and half inches it every time. Let me just update the thumbnail as well so that that's accurate based on the new information that we have got. Bear with me, my beautiful people. There we go. That's all updated so that you guys can see it. Also got to update the title on my overlay. I forgot it was on there as well. Got to do it all manually, people. Right, let's put that there. Let's put in 110. There we go. That's all in. Let's go to some more of your comments. Isak and his agents can continue training alone or go to Saudi on loan to get playing time. That's the best way to punish the rat, is what Dexter says here. What has happened? Sorry, what has to be remembered is that Isak wants to go to Liverpool. No money or contract that Newcastle will offer will change that. And that's exactly it. And this is where Newcastle have to be really careful. And I get the whole punish the rat thing. Punish the rat. Don't let him get away with it. Send him to Saudi, put him in the gulag. Okay. Do those things. Now, for me, what's really interesting is that I want to make sure I say this in the right way. Let's say they loan him out for a year. All that means is that he's less valuable next season because there's only 2 years left on his contract. There's no mileage in that for Newcastle. Yes, I get some Newcastle fans want to see him punished and want to feel better about the situation. Yeah, we got him. But is that actually going to help Newcastle in the long term? The answer is no, it isn't. It's not going to help Newcastle at all. So sell him for maximum money and invest that in your squad and move on. That banner is just childish. What banner? What have I done that's upset anyone? What have I done, Mama Flossie? What have I done? It just says that a bid was made. Newcastle are finished as a club if they let Isak leave this summer. Good luck to them with recruitment. I've just got to stop the comment. They're not finished. They're not done. They're not going to not win things in future. This notion is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Chelsea weren't dead as a club because Eden Hazard wanted to leave. Man United didn't die as a club when Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to leave. That wasn't the reason that we regressed after Fergie retired. It was the way we were run. You know, Newcastle were on the up and up. What they need to do is get rid of players that don't want to be there. They need to get the right money. Sending him on loan to Saudi for a year is pointless. It's pointless. It's pointless. Absolutely pointless. Big players leave all the time. I understand that. The Newcastle fans putting up a banner. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I get you now, Mama Flossie. My apologies. I misunderstood what it is you meant by that. But yeah, crazy morning in the transfers. Crazy morning here. Just see if there's any further updates as I'm reading. Ben Jacobs has pinned Šeško to his pinned a little bit of Šeško up there. I like it. Ben Jacobs, by the way, will be on the Football Terrace later today. So you guys can join us at around 6:30 p.m. I was about to go to the gym. I'm now going to have to go to the gym tonight because I did this instead. I should have got up in the morning and gone, but I didn't. So there we go. Terry, do you really think we can get Šeško? Arsenal couldn't afford him. How can we? It isn't that, again, you're misinformed. It's not that Arsenal couldn't afford him. It's that Arsenal felt that the price for Gyökeres was better value for money. And they're in a different situation. I think maybe if Arsenal were 3 years ago, still developing, still pushing towards title challenging, I think they might have gone for Šeško. I still think there's part of them that prefer him as an overall player, but they need someone that's going to score now. And they felt it was better value for money. Man United are in a different situation and scenario. Can we afford the player? Yes. Cash has been raised through the sell-on clauses of 3 or 4 different players. We've saved a massive amount of money with Rashford going. We know that we will sell Garnacho, and Sancho will leave as well this summer. It's now being reported that Sancho, after trying to maintain all of his salary, is now willing to drop it and take a lesser money, which means no severance package. All of that being said, yes, it's £65 million base for Šeško, but you're only going to pay £15-20 million year one. We've raised that money. His salary is going to be more than covered. He will be on about half the amount of money that Rashford was on. So it's all covered. So that side of things, I'm not worried about that in any capacity whatsoever, my friend. The finances will be fine around that. This here says Newcastle are finished as a club if they allow Isak to leave this season. This season, I mean, look, this will be... When you say this season, when you say finish as a club this season, what does that mean? Like I'm not even saying you're wrong per se about this season, but what does that mean? What does that look like? Break that down for me like I'm 5 years old so that I understand it. I need to understand what you mean by that specifically. Richard here said Liverpool will get Isak, Guehi, and a defensive midfielder. Sell a couple from Nunez. Well, Diaz is already gone. Diaz has already left. Diaz or Elliott, and call it a day. Yeah, you're right. I think that Diaz will go, and I think Elliott will go, and I think they'll still. I definitely think they'll sign a centre back. I think that will still happen later in this window as well. They're probably going to spend. They've already spent 295 million. They're probably going to spend a good 170 more. They're going to go well over the 450 million pound mark this summer. Liverpool, well over it. This here from Marissa Smith says, Tripe, this is business. That's all. They will reinvest and get stronger as a result. Listen, they're definitely going to reinvest. The only thing I've changed my mind on around Newcastle getting stronger is I do feel it's been a little bit amateur this summer. I think the approach, I think the media briefings, I think the way Newcastle, what would have made more sense with Isak would have been to have sold him much earlier in the window, had that money. You should have accepted Liverpool's approach for Isak when they first came in and just gone and got yourselves Ekitike. That is the only thing where I'm a bit like, oh, maybe they won't get stronger straight away. The idea, though, that Newcastle have finished and they're never going to get to the top, their owners can never make it work, that I'm not buying into. That, I think's a massive exaggeration. A tier 1 Newcastle journo has just said, I've lost that comment now. Where's it gone? How have I lost that comment? I just literally clicked on it. Has just said he thinks Isak will go. Yeah, because he will. I think the Newcastle journalists now have also learned to be sensible here. They have pushed the club's kind of propaganda all summer. And I think some of their journalists have ended up, because again, football fans are a bit strange like this. The club will brief, the club will say to the journalist, we're not selling X. So the journalist says the club isn't selling X. Then the club does sell X and the journalist is called a liar. What we don't ever do is realize, well, no, the club has told him that. The club has gone back on its word, but yet we're angry at the journalist. I've never really understood that notion. That's never really made sense to me whatsoever. It's always been a strange, I suppose it's because we don't really want to blame our own clubs. We want to protect our own clubs. So we sort of, we need to attack something else instead. And it's normally the journalists that we go for, typically. Why are people pretending like Newcastle don't have the right to get the absolute most money for the player? No, I don't know if anyone said that. I haven't said it. There might be a few trolls in the comments, but they've got an absolute right to get the most amount of money. But what you don't want to do is damage the deal. So you don't want to price yourself out of a deal. The player then doesn't kick a ball for you this year because you send him out on loan because he refuses to play. And then next year he's worth less money because he's got 2 years left on his deal. A case in point would be, look at two cases in points. Mohamed Kudus and Tyler Diblin. Both Southampton and West Ham asking for 100 millions when people really wanted to buy them. Everyone walked away. West Ham ended up with 55 million for Kudus when people probably would have paid 70 or 80. You're now looking at around 27 million pounds for Tyler Diblin. I reckon in January, if you'd have said 50 million, 60 million, people would have paid it. So you need to be very careful. Yes, try and get the most amount of money possible. But it's like going for a job interview. If I know they normally pay people between 75 and 100K a year for the job, I want to get near 100K. So I might sort of push that I'm earning 110 already. I might say, look, I really love where I am. To leave, though, it's going to have to be 120. What you'll get in that scenario is, look, we can't go that high. What we can do is give you 105 or 100. But what we do is the bonus structure is this. So the bonus you can earn is twice as good as the previous company. We'll give you this extra, we'll give you some family health insurance. We'll give you an extra couple of weeks holiday a year. And we'll also give you some share options. That may be and you go, great, boom. In reality, I'd have been happy with 85, but you've pushed. If I go in there and say it has to be 200,000, if I don't get 200,000 pounds a year, I'm not joining. They'll probably just say thank you and good night and walk away. Now I've got nothing. So you have to be very careful with negotiations. It's not about them not having the right. It's about being sensible. It's about being smart. And it's about doing the right thing. Let's have a look at some comments here. Black day for Terrace White is wearing black. Yeah, and good news. This is terrible news because on a footballing level, which doesn't get spoken about as much in transfer stories, on a footballing level, this is just fantastic. I'm not one of these football fans who thinks it's going to be a struggle. I don't think that I don't think there's going to be this big struggle for Liverpool to get these players to fit in. I just don't. I really think they will handle it well. One sec. I think they'll handle it well. I think they'll find places for these players. I don't think they'll be overcrowded. I don't think they're too top heavy. I think they're going to go and get a centre back as well to balance this all out. Stand by what I said at the top of the video. And I still think this is going to end up being the biggest and best transfer window we have ever witnessed in the history of the Premier League. I just stand on that. And I don't even just mean the deals and the structure of the money. I look at the quality of player, the diversity of player, the positions and the flexibility and versatility. They have Frimpong that can play a couple of positions. Ekitike and Isak that are both very comfortable in different positions. The versatility is key here. Versatility is key. Technically brilliant players as well. If Mark Gahey comes in, I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. He's just underrated. He's at a club that most of you ain't watching every week. Most of you only watch it Palace when they might be playing you or in a big game. Outside, you ain't watching them week in, week out. This man's fantastic. It's fantastic. And he'll prove that at Liverpool as well. Rivals are trying to push the narrative that Liverpool spending huge amounts of money is bad before it was, if we don't spend enough, it's bad. Now we're spending too much. It's just bitterness. At the end of the day, I always find it hard to take people serious when their criticism comes from both sides of their mouths. Liverpool don't spend enough, they're not serious. Liverpool spending too much ain't good for football. If the same person saying that, they're a fucking idiot. The best thing to do is just stop listening to them. And just honestly, like, there's so many YouTubers like that, and I sit there and go, everyone's angry at them because they're always talking out both sides of their mouths. Well, just unsubscribe and stop sharing their comments and their videos, and they'll just die. Not literally. They're just their viewership will go. I always find that about. I'm not someone who consumes Andrew Tate's content, but the amount of people I see that share it, that hate it, well, you're making him more popular. You've got that American Eagle advert thing. Again, I haven't really looked into why people are angry. I've seen a few videos. My first thought is every single person attacking it but sharing the video is probably helping that company make money. It's my first thought. I thought the same thing about who's that couple that used to make corn videos, right? I don't remember, Adam something. I remember everyone that was quote tweeting him and her, everyone that was tweeting about them, everybody that was pushing out, oh my God, what a disgrace, what a cuck, what a this, what a that. I was sitting there thinking, you lot are morons. You were literally doing what they planned. You were making them massive. You were making them famous. You were giving them the credence that they want. More people are going to subscribe to their OnlyFans. They're going to make millions. You're the idiot. I tweeted that and somebody went, no, you're not an idiot. No, we're not the idiots. They're the idiots. They're shameful. They're making money through terrible ways. Yeah, but they don't care. You do. You've helped. This is the thing. You care about it. How you stop them making money through terrible ways is by not talking about it. Kill them with silence. Stop talking about it. It goes away. It goes away. Everyone if you see things on your TL you don't like, oh, this person's shameless. This person's this person's just trying to do that. I always say that even people that criticize me, I hate the kind of content you make. Well, click not interested and block, and you won't see it. Rather than you coming in, sharing it on your timeline, going, I hate this kind of content. Do you know what will happen? People will go, oh, let me have a look. Some might go, I agree. A few people that have never heard of me might go, oh, I like this. I'm going to watch more of it. The best way to damage someone you don't like in the social media world is to ignore them. I don't understand why this hasn't caught on yet. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Maradon here with his third different account in a week says defending a gal is shameless. No, it's not shameless. Terry, I don't think this Isak saga is similar to Kane. Sorry, let me reread that again. I think I misread that. Kerry, don't you think it's similar to Kane when he wanted to leave? I think it's almost identical. Almost identical. The difference here being Kane has a different love and affinity for Tottenham. Isak don't feel that way about Newcastle. So that is the distinction that I would make in this scenario personally. This here from John, who says Isak is not worth 150 million. He's an amazing player, but I'd expect that price for Haaland, and he's not a Haaland. Oh, interesting take. I think he's fantastic. Marissa, I get your point about American Eagle. The point I'm putting out, you can be against it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I only saw the advert because people were angry with it. More people have seen. You know that guy, I can't remember his name either, the influencer that did all the tape on his mouth in the morning and the bottles of water. He ended up making so much money out of that. Most of the people sharing the video were mocking him. He's made tens of millions of pounds, got huge endorsements out of it because people mocked him. And then people are like, I can't believe people like this are making money. Stop talking about them then. Leave them alone. Don't share the content. It won't Just saying, that's the irony in all of this. Most content creators that people dislike that do well are doing well because the people that dislike them are sharing them. Ignore them. Ignore them. There we go. Listen, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. It's always very, very humbling indeed when you guys are here, when you guys are supporting, when you're helping the Football Terrace. I want to thank all of our members. I want to thank all of our super chatters. I want to thank everybody that, helps make the Football Terrace what it is. And that's you guys, the viewers. And it isn't said enough how brilliant you guys are. So I wanted to take some time again to thank you for being here, to thank you for being on the shows and everything else. One second, I've just got to do something here. This video is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel. One sec. This is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel to go and support him. We're back. I'm back myself at 2 p.m. on the United Stand. Then I'm going to be back at 4:30 UK time for Straight Facts. I think Mo will send you back that way as well. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you all then where we'll be debating this more with a panel. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.